What do we have going on here? Got this weird looking wooden thing going on this trailer. Got Dad's backhoe down here. Got this old deck. And got the tractor. So the story with this deck, Dad and I got this off of a cottage, probably like it was 2013, so like, what is it now, 21. They were tearing the cottage down and the deck was still decent, so him and I ended up getting it. And we used the backhoe and brought it home on that trailer, but it was way too long for the trailer. So that's why I got that thing rigged up. And I want to put this in the upstairs of my shop. So I think I've got it rigged up good enough. I'm going to lift this end up with the backhoe. And then I guess lift that end up with the tractor and then try and just back the trailer under it and get her down to the house. So we'll get this rigged up and see if it works. What do you think, Grace? Couldn't have done it without your supervision. Got a strap on there. That's sitting on there pretty good. A lot better than the first time we brought it home. It was all hanging off the back and this part was all bouncing. I put that board on there to try and hold it, but this is a lot better set up this time. I think it was laying right on the toolbox last time, so that's good. Back to the house. Got a roadblock going on here. Just waiting for Sarah. There she is. Before this deck goes in the shop, I wanted to give it a wash. It's definitely overdue for a little hose down, so we'll get this going. Yeah, I finally got this thing in here. I got to bring the lumber in here that I got to build the beam out of for that thing to sit on. And then I'll have to do a little chop cut rebuild on this deck to make it fit up there. So here we go. So I've got this deck all tore apart here. I got all this railing off, and I got a couple joists pulled off of this end. And I've got a couple boards peeled off the back here. Still have to take one more off. And then down on this end I got the outside joist pulled off too, as well as the railing. And now I've got to cut these deck boards off flush with the edge of this joist and lose that railing right there, keep the post. And then that will be the end that's going to sit up against that south wall there. So once I have this how it's going to be sitting, then I can measure down that way and figure out where to cut that other end. Not bad for a rookie. To give you an idea of how long this deck sat in the woods, I just pulled this out of the deck. It was a raspberry. It was growing up through and it was jammed in between the deck boards. And when it was green, I couldn't get it out of there, but. So this is going to be the final size of the deck. I don't have to cut any more off. I can start putting her back together now. So I'm going to go with double joist here on the end. I'll just leave this new one on the outside so it's shiny looking, I guess. But I think I'm going to put a joist hanger back on in there. So just getting this kind of set up here to see where that inside joist is going to have to go so this sits flush. So that'll be like that, and then I have to come over here to the back side and get a couple more joists going on the back there. That's coming right along nice. All right, I'll get going on this. So since I wanted to put a joist hanger on there, I just think that makes it so much stronger putting those on. But anyways, I notched the end of this out so it'll sit nice and tight up against that. So let's see if that fits. Yeah. Nice. Things are coming right along here now. Got that double joist all on. I just finished up putting these two on. Put the nails and screws right to her. And I put the one joint there for this one. And where these ones overlapped, I put that in behind. And the other joint's down here. So that should be good and strong. So now I'm gonna have to put that last deck board on. Got this end all looking good. So this thing, deck-wise, is pretty well done. I'm still going to have to do something with the railing, but she's coming along. This is good. So to anchor this deck to the floor, I just got these deck saddles, and I'm just gonna drill into the concrete. And then I got this epoxy stuff. It's a two-part product, and as you squirt it out, it mixes it as it comes out the tube. So I'll get the old hammer drill fired up here. It says to squirt it out until it's all coming the same color, but I'd say that's right now. Gonna have to do some severe editing here. This stuff is hard to squeeze. I'd say if you're gonna use this stuff, have it as warm as you can. It's been sitting in this garage, so that's probably why it's hard to come out of here. Give that a go, I guess. I was gonna pull a string line across them to make sure they sit square. Now that I've got a bit of weight on there, I'll let that cure for a bit. I guess the next thing will be getting a measurement from those saddles up to that laser line. So I'm getting things all set up here. I'm getting ready to start building this beam. So I've got the laser set up so I can get a nice straight line going around. So instead of measuring from that rim board down to the floor and then carrying that measurement over to here, like I don't know if the floor is the same, so I don't know if it'd be accurate. So now I can just put a tape from the floor up to the laser line and that'll give me a measurement bang on. Now for the best results, you've got to wear the glasses. So put that down to where it's touching the saddle. I'll try my best to hold this tape straight up and down. So that's looking like 95, between an 1/8 and a 1/4. That laser line's 1/8 of an inch thick right here. The further you get away from it, the skinnier it gets. I'll write that down, 95 and an 1/8. So I started building this little temporary wall here. I figured it would be worth spending the time to do, so when I have the post and beam up on this side, this wall will be here and I can just sit the deck on it and it'll sit like that. It's not like somebody has to go underneath to try and screw the deck into there while the excavator's running and holding it up like that. I just feel better with that wall being there. We got little Grace out here helping. Yeah, you got your earmuffs on so your hearing isn't impaired. Yeah, you're cute. So today is Christmas. We're out in the shop working on this beam. I've got it about half built. Got all the posts set up there last night and everything braced. I gotta put another 5-footer there, another one on that other end, and then 2 more 10-footers on the top, but it's coming right along. This is a little tighter in here than I thought it was gonna be, but I think that'll work. I'm glad this boom does that. Good for sneaking around corners. So I'll get this rigged up and then try and set it up there. So, 1 ratchet strap or 2? So the deck's finally up there. It's looking good. It's sitting up on its perch, nice. Got it all screwed to the wall with those great big screws. Sarah and I pulled all the bracing out of here the other day. And now it's time to build some stairs. I had these 2x10s left over from when I built the floor for the old garage, but they're too short to go from there all the way to the floor. So I just built this little step. Has kind of a landing in the bottom 2 steps, I guess, and did a little 45 on the corner there. So there's still lots of room to sneak through there and between the hoist. So now I can get started laying out these stringers. So when you're measuring and trying to figure out how to build a set of stairs, it's really not too hard. You need 2 measurements. You need from the floor to the top of the deck, and then from the deck out to where your stairs are gonna end. So that 104 1/4 was from the floor up, and then the 90 was from there out. And I only went out 90 because I didn't want the stairs to stick out too much farther, because I still wanted a good walking space through there. So once you have those 2 numbers, you have to do a little bit of division. So you do 104 1/4 divided by 8, and that gives you 13. So there's going to be 13 total steps. To find out the height of each step, so there. And then to figure out the tread, you do 90 divided by your number of steps, and then that gives you the measurement of the tread. When you're laying out stairs, all you really need is one of these 2-foot framing squares. So you take your 2 measurements, the 8-inch step height, and then the tread's just shy of 7. So you just line the 2 numbers up. So from there to there, just shy of 7, and then from there to there, you've got 8. So that gives you your step, and then you just draw another square line down here. And the height of this bottom step is only 7. It's always shorter when you're cutting stringers, because you have to take into account the thickness of the material that you're using for the tread. So I'm using those 1-inch deck boards, so that's 7, so that'll just give me 8. And then from there up, every other one will be 8. And once you've got the first step laid out, you just carry on up. You line it up, 8, just shy of 7. And you just work your way on up the stringer. They actually make little things that clamp onto these specifically for doing this. So you don't have to try and line it up. You just slide ahead, hold it in. Those would be handy. And you just carry on with that all the way up. When you go to lay out your second stringer, you can cheat and just trace the first one you built, but I like to take the time to lay it out again with the square, because see, if you're just off a little bit, it can end up throwing you off a lot, especially if the set of stairs you're building has 3 or 4 stringers. You can be out a lot by the time you get to the end. So I just take the time. It only takes a couple minutes to run along there with the square again and mark it all out. So by screwing that 2x4 directly to that beam, now those stringers can rely on sitting on that for strength, instead of just like toenailing screws in both sides of those stringers. That's definitely stronger. I'm sure you can buy like joist hangers, but that works just as well. Slight change of plans here. I was going to use these 1-inch deck boards for the treads on the stairs. Like, they're fine for right here, but the span on these stringers is so far apart, like they kind of move around all over the place. 2x6s will be a lot stronger and sturdier, so that's what I'm going to go with. Those turned out nice. They don't feel too steep, and they're good and solid, so I'm glad I took the time to use those 2x6s. Definitely worth it. Okay, now I gotta build the railing. Before I build the railing for the stairs, I need to get this railing kind of dealt with. It's too short and it's on a dirty lean out, so I'm gonna get all these straps hooked up and pull it back straight, give it a bit of a lift kit, and get it all secured, and then I can build off of that railing to do the railing for the stairs. That's level there, so that's gotta get pulled in quite a bit. That's pretty close on that one. There, that's looking pretty good now. So to stiffen up this railing, these two boards and the whole railing were kind of tipped out. I'm sure it was just from moving it around. But now that I've got it pulled straight, I'm gonna put these screws in and screw them right into the ends of the joists. So that should keep that tipped up in there and hold everything into place. I guess the old Milwaukee had too much torque. It just busted the end off that bit. Huh, never had that happen before. I notched this out to sit right on here. See, taking 5 minutes to notch that post out, look how good that looks. And that's solid too, like, that's good. Now I'll carry on with that railing. So finally back at her. It's the new year. It's January 3rd, 2022. Took a couple days off, but time to get back at this railing. So I've started cutting the spindles. I got that many done. And it's pretty nice just using the chop saw. I just set that fence up to my measurement, and then I could cut 3 or 4 at the same time, so that worked nice for that. So I'll get up there and I'll get those ones on. I'm still gonna need to cut more, but I'll get started with those ones and see how I make out. So I've got the first one on, and I'm gonna space all these spindles 4 inches apart. And instead of measuring every single one, I've got this fancy little stick made up. So I can just hold it up, put the next spindle on. Pop that off, set it over there. I'm sure if I just continued to screw it with that spacer block in there, they'd be pretty level, but I'm kind of OCD, so I'm probably gonna check every one. Or check every couple anyways, but that should work pretty good. I've done spindles like this before with a spacer block, but I only had one block before, so that just to be able to hold that up with one hand, that's nice. So slight change of plans, going with 3.5 inch on center now. 4 looked a little too wide, so we'll go with 3.5. That turned out not too bad. That looks pretty good. So the next thing to do is get this gate on here. I picked that up the other day, and I thought it'd be nice to have a gate on there so I can just swing that open, and then this whole end will be open, so if I want to lift furniture up here with the tractor, the skid steer, or a snowmobile, or whatever else, I can just lift it up here. But I'm gonna have to get a little creative here. I don't know how I'm gonna finish that end off there, because this end over here, it'd be nice to mount the gate in between these ribs of steel so it's flush with the outside of the deck, but moving that around to do that to gain a couple inches seems like a lot of work. So I'm probably gonna put a 2x6 there, screw that onto the wall into the strapping, and then to get the gate to sit flush all the way along, might just end up cutting a bit of that off, but that's okay. I kind of thought that anyways. That's why I just left that long like that. So I'll get some 2x6s cut and screwed on there and then get this gate hung. That seems pretty solid. Well there, that's bang on. Put a couple of the heavy duties in her. Well there, get that bottom one in now. Yeah, that's nice. Okay, so it's definitely not sitting level, like it's touching there and it's hanging down below over there. So I guess I can just probably thread that top one in more, and that'd make the gate tip up. Well, that's looking pretty good. I had to adjust that quite a bit, but it's level. All right, so now I need to do something different with this. Might just cut that back like one spindle and see how that sits when it closes. There, check that out. No hardware needed. Just drilled a hole through there. That turned out good. Nice. That fridge is pretty decent. I got that for free, like quite a while ago. Just been waiting for a spot to put it, so there. Check that out. That turned out pretty sweet. Gates all mounted, railings all done, stairs are all done. Starting to get things set up here. Got the fridge and the love seat up here. The gate turned out pretty good. That turned out sweet. Now the next thing will just be getting everything set up in here. So that's good. Who knows what kind of furniture or motorized objects are going to end up here. So that's going to be a wrap on the installing a deck as a mezzanine video. Anything from here on I do under here, I'll be setting the sink up there, getting a bench built there, stove, fridge, counter there, whatever. That'll all be a new video from now on, but that is coming right along. Just went to Belleville this morning, got some water for the shop, party lights to hang up to. Oh yeah, getting her all set up.